speak because I'm setting it up, and then you just randomly just start talking.
Sorry.
Well, it's too late now. Welcome back to the 504 Podcast, episode 34. I'm one of your hosts, Mark.
And I'm your other host, Erica.
And together we form the 504 Podcast. Got a lot of stories, so listen up. First two stories are going to be about food. One's not food, and the other food people were upset about. Actually, the next story is about food as well. What happens when the waitress decides to chase the customers who decided not to pay for their bill? Let's find out about that. Erica, if someone was selling passes to use a word that was racially sensitive, would you buy one?
No. Who'd buy one?
Well, we'll get into that momentarily. Ancestry.com solving rape cases now. We have some Jersey City news. Or is it New Jersey news?
New Jersey news.
It's New Jersey news. James Franco, Bill Cosby, and Felicia Rashad. And that's how we're going to finish it up. This is the 504 Podcast. We really have to figure out. Yeah, we really have to figure out some sort of music. All these podcasts I listen to, they all look.
There you go. You just did it.
Yeah, right, sure. All right, let's start. You ever go to Subway, Erica?
Yes, I do.
What do you get when you go to Subway?
I think it's the Italian BMT.
I get the Italian BMT sometimes too. That's my favorite. I actually used to go to Blimpie and get a Hoboken, which is sort of like the Italian BMT, but the Hoboken. You ever had the Hoboken at Blimpie?
That's my favorite.
We got something in common. Don't take me down, YouTube. That's not the real song. That's me singing. Well, the next time you go to Subway, don't order the tuna.
And why is that? Because
they did lab testing on the tuna and found out that there is no tuna in the Subway tuna. New study fails to find any tuna DNA inside the Subway tuna sandwich. And then the scientists actually say, and this is from Complex News or Complex Media, they say we cannot identify the species.
They should probably go to Ancestry.com.
Maybe you can have just have a bunch of fish just like jizz in the tube or something, and then they just keep the database.
So maybe it's like the bottom feeders, like the muck of the ocean.
Why is Subway a thing?
No, Subway's good.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. All right, man. Here we go. Moving on to the next story because I want to get us out of here in 30 minutes. IKEA on Juneteenth decided to have in their menu fried chicken and watermelon. So I get why people are upset because of the whole stereotype issue. But what should they have served on Juneteenth that would have made people not upset? Just serve nothing. Just serve nothing. See, those Swedish companies like IKEA and H&M who have no idea about racist issues in the United States and stereotypes and different things like that. I don't think they did it to say let's piss black people off, because if anybody's buying that cheap furniture, it's black people. No. So I don't think they're gonna piss off a majority of their fan base on purpose, or their clientele, I should say, on purpose.
I don't know. I think they should kind of keep it on their menu.
So I was having this conversation with Gianna today, and we were talking about stereotypes. First and foremost, before we even get into stereotypes, I've had this conversation with someone. I'm like, I don't understand why black people get the stereotype about fried chicken, because it seems like every Filipino that I know loves fried chicken more than me.
Yep, that's like Jollibee.
Yeah, I've seen Filipinos dress up to go to the Jollibee. You'll catch a black person in their pajamas getting the 2-piece from Popeyes for $5, but Jollibee, man, they got them the Sunday best. Dude had the pennies in the penny loafer, posing out front with the B. And then I found out when I did some more research that Jollibee is the #1 restaurant chain in the Philippines. Why do black people get that? Why do black people get that stigma with fried chicken?
I don't know. Why not? Well, I don't know. Wouldn't you know?
I worked with this white guy named Zach, and his name is Zachary Lynch, And a friend of mine, Risque, says, of course Zachary is racist. His last name is Lynch. But
Oh my God.
we were randomly having a conversation one day at Chili's, and he comes out of nowhere. I know why black people like watermelon. It's cheap and it's good.
It isn't really cheap, though.
You said it isn't or is not?
No, I don't think so.
If
you go to the
it depends if you get it on season or not on season.
But like right now, is it in season now? Yeah.
Yes.
So you go to the supermarket and you get like it's like a quarter of a watermelon. That's like $5.
No, you don't buy the quarter of the watermelon. They charge you labor. You have to get a whole watermelon, and the whole watermelon is usually about $5, $5 to $6.
I don't know. I like watermelon. I'm not black.
You ain't black if you don't vote for me.
I love it, and I like fried chicken.
It's delicious. But here's my question. So the conversation that I had with Gianna was, why is it that when it's perceived to be black food isn't an issue? Because on Irish holidays, what is the Irish holiday? St. Patrick's Day? What is it? Corned beef hash and cabbage?
Not corned beef hash, just corned beef and cabbage.
Oh, corned beef and cabbage.
And that's a poor man's meal.
So I don't understand. They don't get angry about that. Or when I see the Italians coming out of the Olive Garden, even though real Italians say they don't eat at Olive Garden, I see yelling there. I don't think anything of it.
Well, it's a society we live in now.
But so if you were to, and maybe this isn't like directed at you, but if someone were to serve black cultural food, what would they be able to serve without someone being offended?
I don't know. What would that be? Fried chicken?
I don't know. You ever see the episode of the Chappelle Show when he didn't want to be a stereotype, so he's on the airplane, and they say to him, what would you like? Would you like the chicken or would you like the fish? And then this little racist thing pops up on his shoulder, go, fried chicken. Go and get you a big bucket, you black motherfucker. and he doesn't want to be a stereotype, so he picks the fish. And the little racist pixie on his shoulder gets so upset. You don't want no fish. Yeah, it's a really funny episode.
So I think like IKEA, like they were trying to like maybe do the right thing and celebrate. I think
they were all the way in Sweden, and they said, hey, and they Googled, what do black people eat? And they came up probably fried chicken and watermelon. And they said, okay, let's serve that. Who would even notice? Who noticed?
I don't know.
I bet you it wasn't even a black person that noticed.
But I have to be honest. My kids love to go to IKEA just for the food court.
Don't tell me they like the Swedish meatballs.
No, they get the salmon and oh yeah, no, Maeve does like the Swedish meatballs.
All right, moving on to our third food story. All right, here we go. Let's set the scene. Few dudes sitting at the diner, getting their eat on. Everybody ordering food. Bill comes to $70, and they just get up and leave. The waitress runs after them, and they pull the waitress in the car and drive off.
And what happened to her?
She got assaulted. And they threw her out in the middle of the road. It's not funny, but this explains why. Because I was a waiter for 5 years. And they would always tell you, if somebody doesn't pay the bill, just let them go. This is an example of, if they didn't pay the bill, just let them go.
Yeah, but maybe she took it personally, like an affront to her.
Because restaurants have this really weird policy, which is, all right, so I'll give you an example, right? Let's suppose you're a security guard at Macy's and somebody steals a pair of, like, let's say $90 Lacoste shirt. They don't make the security guard pay for it.
Do they make the waitress pay for it?
No, they don't make the waitress pay for it, but she gets written up. Because they say, it's your job and your responsibility to make sure that the guest pays. Well, how am I supposed to enforce somebody paying something?
I would be livid
if they decide that they're just going to leave.
I would be livid, and I would probably feel like that whole like blackness would come over me, and I'd want to like run out there and like I'd black out and want to run out there. Like, how dare you? How dare you be disrespectful? Like, I was just your server.
It's happened to me before. I was working at Chili's, and this guy and his girlfriend sitting on the second floor. And they ate. I think the bill came to like $65. They had dessert, everything. And I said, hey, listen, let me put the bill here. Let me clear your dishes off, and I'll be back. Took their dishes, went downstairs, went downstairs, put their dishes in the kitchen because that's what you're told to do. When I came back upstairs, they were gone. And I got in trouble. They wrote me up. They said that you had improper supervision of clients. I'm like, what was I supposed to do? Just stand there and just watch them?
Yeah, no, I know. And I feel for the waitress. I'd probably be as incensed as she was.
I mean, I ran out to a customer one time.
It's disrespectful, and maybe it's happened to her before. Maybe this was her last straw. We don't know. Yeah, so she risked her life and, got assaulted.
All right, so here we go. This is the story right here that made me go, wow, just some people, when they put their mind to it, they can really just do whatever they want. So, little kid in the school, right? So guess how old this kid is?
I'm going to go with 7 or 8.
11.
11, okay.
Little kid's 11 years old. Goes to an interracial school, apparently. And he started selling N-word passes so that the white kids at his school could say the N-word without getting any flack.
That's genius.
But wait. You want to know what the genius part is? How much do you think he sold them for?
$10.
$25 to $50 each.
What? And kids bought them?
He made $1,000.
How does a kid go home and be like, yeah, Ma, I need $20? Yeah, here you go. Not even asking what it's for.
If you're an affluent child, those $20 are like for nothing. Just tell you, the Scholastic coming to school. There's a book fair.
Wait, did it work?
I don't know.
Did they get to show their pass, or did they ask for a refund?
That's a good question, but I mean, I would have never have thought to do something like that.
He needs to be brought on the Ellen Show. Showcase him.
Never.
That's great. Good for him. He's going to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I wonder if he got in trouble.
He's going to be an entrepreneur one day. We're going to see him in the billionaires list. Good for him.
Speaking of entrepreneurs, do you remember that guy who wasn't a doctor who opened up a clinic and he was like 17? I'm gonna have to send you the story, but there was like a 17-year-old kid who wasn't a doctor and opened up a gynecology clinic or something like that. Is that what it's called?
Okay.
And he was actually doing stuff and making some money.
Listen, there's that movie with the airplane pilot where he fakes being a pilot.
You're talking about Catch Me If You Can.
Yes.
Catch Me If You Can.
You just have to play the part really well.
All right, man. Next story. Ancestry.com. So I have personally used Ancestry.com. I spit in the tube. My mother has done it. My grandmother has done it. And, you have people who fight back and say, nah, man, they're going to put your DNA and stuff and they're going to clone you and they're going to submit your DNA. Well, apparently that happened. Ancestry.com solved a 14-year-old rape case because someone submitted their DNA.
So there must be fine print somewhere that says that you are relinquishing your rights to your DNA.
Maybe.
Reads the fine print. I do. I'm a nerd. I like that. I read the fine print.
I don't read the fine print. Like, you gonna tell me who my cousins is? I'm gonna spit in that too, baby.
I want to know if I should be eating fried chicken or watermelon or not.
It's crazy. Sometimes when people see me, like, they're like, hey, Papa, you Spanish? You Spanish, Papa? You Spanish? No, I'm not Spanish. Oh, my gosh. The milkman come to your house, Papi. No, milkman. What is the milkman? Well, when I did my Ancestry.com, 1% came from Puerto Rico.
I should do mine. I like to see where I'm from.
You should. Go and get you a tube and spit in it.
From, middle, white class America.
By the way, that story came from Baller Alert, the DNA.com.
Hashtag.
Yeah, hashtag Baller Alert. All right, let's move on. Mun, you were going to tell me about the New Jersey Attorney General, Gilbert Grewal. Go ahead, tell me about him.
He's stepping down and taking a different position where, like, he'll be analyzing, like, FBI cases or whatever. But apparently, tonight, well, I don't know if it was tonight or, tonight, he's set to formally apologize in an event at Cookman Ave and Main Street, wherever that must be in maybe Newark, I don't know, for a role in his office played in the systematic targeting of gay bars between 1933 and 1967.
Wow, that man kept a job for a very long time.
Well, he was the first CISC. Is that how you say it? CISC? I'm sorry if I'm messing it up. Individual to hold like a government spot. But
wait. Are we making this a thing? Am I cis now? Is that really a thing? He's the first cis male?
He is.
But where did this word cis come from?
Well,
cis male and cis female, where did it come from?
No, that's his culture.
Oh, Sikh.
Is it Sikh?
Yeah, I think it's Sikh.
I don't know. I have to look that up. But why does he need to apologize for something that happened? I don't know. I'm exaggerating here, but.
So, people apologize due to guilt over something, or to make yourself seem as if you can, I guess, kill the sins of the former lives or the past sins. If you like to do a big thing of apologizing for it.
But you know what? The kids of today, the generation now, this social media generation, they'll never be able to run for any kind of public office because something will have been screenshot when they were 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old saying something stupid.
That's like, what's the girl who makes that emo music? That Billie Eilish.
Oh.
They thought about canceling her and it didn't happen because she was using some sort of slur. I forgot what slur it was. And then they said, I think it was an Asian slur. And then they said that she was talking in a fake Asian accent. It was like, what? She was like 13 or something at the time. There should be a cap on how far you can go back to somebody doing something stupid.
Well, I follow somebody on Instagram who the woman's half Korean and half Native American or something like that. And she said that there's this man who is transitioning to be a Korean woman.
Wait, is he Korean?
No, he's white.
And he's transitioning to being a Korean woman.
Korean woman, and he's had surgeries to fix his eyes, make his cheekbones high. And she was like, listen, yeah, I know, like, you know, everything is great about Korea. She was like, but, you know, why do you want to be this Korean woman when you're a white man? She goes, I should be offended, but I'm not because, you know, hey, I'm half Korean. I know you want to be like me.
But what's the issue with just enjoying someone else's culture? Why do you have to make it your own? Why can't you just enjoy somebody's culture?
I agree. I'm out there. I'm trying all different foods and stuff. Why not?
You know what? When I was younger, there was a Dairy Queen when I lived in Georgia, and they would only hire like Indian people. So they just said I identify as Indian, and they would have hired me to Dairy Queen.
I told you I'm going to identify as a retiree and try to get out early. Can I do that?
It all depends on where the identifying stops. It's where does it stop?
I don't know, because anyone could say they identify as anything at this point, and you could shut somebody up with, well, yeah, I identify as that. No more said. And then
I don't say the issue with identifying. It's just like such a weird time where we have to put labels on things. What is the name of the tennis player who's like half black and half Asian? Yeah, it's a girl. She's a young girl.
I don't know.
I'm gonna look her up. But then there was a whole issue of who does she represent? Who does she represent in the Olympics? Does she represent her Japanese side or does she represent her black side? And then it gets into the whole debate of if you are dark, are you black? Or if you're light, are you just Japanese? Like, why does it have to be like a title on things? Like, why can't we just be people?
Yeah, I agree.
What are you, human? I'm human. That's not going to happen until the aliens come and start messing us up. Then all of a sudden, we got to be on the same team. All of our differences are going to go right to the side, and we're all going to team up against the aliens like an Independence Day.
Yeah, you think that's going to happen?
Or like Lord of the Rings, when they had all the different races come together. Or The Hobbit.
Just the world we live in. Hobbit.
You know what? I'm still looking up the Japanese player. But let's go to the next one. So, you know what? I need a second to look it up. I don't want to go to the next one. Let me look it up. Japanese. And it's Japanese and black tennis player. And I should know this. Her name is Naomi Osaka. And I'm gonna hold her picture.
Okay.
I don't know if you can even tell she's mixed. To be honest, like if I looked at her, I wouldn't think she's mixed. I'm gonna make the picture bigger. Like I wouldn't be able to tell that she's mixed until you look at her name, and her name is.
Well, what would you say she is?
She's just black.
You think she looks black?
She looks black to me.
I don't know. I have
Holy crap, man.
What?
The next time look at my phone. Just look at my phone. See that little purple light that's blinking?
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
I can't see that. If I look directly at my phone, I can't see that.
That's Big Brother.
Well, I wonder what that is. It's like a little purple light that's blinking. All right, let's move on. So, next story. This is a sad, horrific story, and I don't know any other way to talk about it besides just jumping into it. A man attacks a family. He kills the mother. He kills the father. He kills the 6-year-old. He shoots the 10-year-old. The 10-year-old pretends to be dead. And then she calls her grandmother, who then calls the police. What is wrong with people?
Mental illness. Mental illness. No?
It's really sad because I feel for this little girl. Like, you watched your entire family get killed in front of you.
But she knew enough to play dead, so there must have been some sort of domestic abuse prior. Like, I don't know. Maybe her. Well,
it wasn't her dad who did it.
Who was it? Oh.
It was a man who came in and did it.
Oh.
And it's really disturbing. So let's see. This story comes from. I cut it off by mistake, but I think it's called My Mixtapes on Instagram. So neighbors say that 3 family members were shot to death in an apartment complex down in southwest Houston last night. According to ABC 13, a 10-year-old girl received help after playing dead and calling her grandmother. A 6-year-old girl, her mother, and her father were all shot and killed.
She may not have known that they were dead.
Pardon?
Maybe she didn't know they were all dead.
No, I think she knew and she played dead.
Probably watched a lot of TikTok videos.
And they say that she played dead after she was shot. She told family members. The shooter, who was described as a man wearing a mask, lined up her family members, and I didn't get the rest of the story, but boy.
That's sad. That's sad.
I really wish that in this world, there was more emphasis on people becoming therapists, where they don't have to go to school for $200,000 worth of education in order to be therapists. I think we really need a lot of people out there. I think we really need to normalize therapy and talking out our feelings, because
but you can only lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink.
You know what it is? It's not even so much that. It's always been a stigma on therapy. Even when I go back and look at TV shows where somebody's like going to therapy, it was always they were always like the person that were made fun of. And we know perception is reality. The person's going to therapy. What's wrong with you? And
I don't think that's so much anymore, though. Like,
but not anymore. No, it's changing because people are changing that perception, and especially
But to find a therapist who will take you what if you don't have insurance? When I was looking for my girls
But
during
if
this
you don't have
pandemic,
insurance, they have therapists that work around that also.
I know, but even so, like, even I have insurance, and finding a therapist for my girls during the pandemic, it took almost, like, I'm gonna say almost a month, maybe 5 weeks, to find someone that would secure like a spot for them.
That's why I
So,
want it to be normalized, which is becoming, but also I want it to be, what's the word when the government like does something and they make it a bit more cost effective?
the government. I don't know.
It's what they do with the vegetables and the meat. And vegetables are expensive, but meat is cheap.
I don't know what it's called.
All right, but I want them to do that. I want to
So subsidized. Okay.
subsidize this thing.
So maybe they should have like walk-in clinics. Like, do you need help? You should just be able to walk in and find a clinic and
Or not
walk in
even you
and
have to
say,
walk in. You don't have to go someplace. Like,
so,
call
well, what about,
someone.
yeah, you'd have to figure out the number. By then, somebody's so far gone, they don't want to look for a number. How about these Med Express places or these mini clinics or these medi clinics, whatever they're called? Why don't they have therapists that are on site where you walk in? Oh no, I'm not sick. I need to talk to somebody.
Because those are like medical places, but they don't really do much.
Well, but to have somebody to talk to in that moment, you're feeling a certain way. You need to talk to somebody.
So if we had something like that for like therapists, so like a pop up shop for therapists, it's like
Yeah,
5 of them in there. You go in, you talk to somebody, they charge your insurance as if you're a patient at the time, and
yeah,
then
but
go.
at the same time, the other end of that is these licensed clinical therapists are going to be sitting around getting paid to not see patients until a patient comes in. You
Not
know,
if they're salary workers. If it's
okay,
part of their salary, and if it's part of their salary, because that's what they were talking about for our insurance with the different doctors. They were going to pay them a salary, and they would only cap at a certain number of patients. So whether they saw those patients or did not see those patients, in order to accrue low cost, they just paid the doctor outright. And let's say the doctor's salary was $200,000. It's $200,000. You have 400 patients. That's it. So that way you can't charge $75 for an aspirin, which is what some of these hospitals do.
so just like we have like a Planned Parenthood, we should have like a mental therapy
Yeah.
something
And
where
then
people can just walk in and be like, you know what, I'm feeling a certain way. I need to talk to somebody.
I think that would be dope. I really think that would be like a really good thing. 'Cause I think at some point we all want to talk to someone and not feel judged. And I think that's what therapy allows you to do. Because there are some things that you'll tell your therapist, but you won't tell your friends. Because your therapist, even though they're a person, you feel as if, all right,
They're
they're not
objective.
going to tell anyone. They're objective. They're there to listen. As
Yeah.
opposed to your friend, just like this. Oh God, is Tawana going to tell someone? Now I
Yeah,
gotta kill Tawana.
or as the person who's telling your friends, like, you feel like, oh my God, all I talk about is the lows of my life. They're tired of hearing it.
Yeah, very true. All right, moving on to our last set of stories. If you're still there, make sure you leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all the cool swanky stuff that they tell you to do on YouTube. But do it for
What's that?
us, please. It's free. It only takes 5 seconds. Do it for us. All right, last story. And we're going to wrap it up into one big story. James Franco, sexual misconduct, old student, settled $2.2 million. Do you think that when someone settles a sexual misconduct trial that they are guilty?
No, no. I think that they could be, but I think they just wanted to just not have it go on too long. I don't know.
See, that's the issue there with the American law system. Because even if you're not guilty, sometimes it's just cheaper to pay the person than it would be to fight it. And that's terrible. It really is terrible. Like when I spoke to a lawyer before, and the phone call was $100 for just the hour. It was $100. And whether we used the entire hour or not, it was $100.
Yeah.
I think I might have gotten 20 minutes out of it without having any more questions. It was $100. And she told me, she said, hey, listen, we're going to need about $5,000 in advance.
Oh my
and
God.
That's the retainer. And then as I, look at your case and do different things, I'm just going to just bill your retainer. And when we drop down to a little bit low, you just up it with $5,000 more. I'm like, oh, okay, that's not bad. Yes, it is.
Yeah. But James Franco has money to do that.
Yeah, he does. But even still, it's the law system where it's cheaper to pay someone off than to fight for your innocence is wild. Because if let's say it's me and it's decided that I did not do these things, and it can't be like the maybe he did, maybe he didn't. It has to be like, whoa, he wasn't even in the state at the time.
Yeah, then you fight it.
Yeah, but even with me fighting it, you still got to give the lawyer the retainer to fight it. And then you can't even say, Your Honor, I need her to pay my lawyer fees. Or you can be like the guy who killed his daughter and his wife and stabbed his son. They tampered with evidence. Did you see that?
No.
That guy gonna die. Let me see if I can find it. It's some guy. He's going to trial, and he's on death row. And he's on death row because he allegedly killed his daughter, her mother, and tried to kill the son.
And he's saying he didn't?
And he's saying he didn't. So let me see. It's called Inmate Defends Himself. Let me see if I can play it. All right, here we go. So this is it here. But of course, commercials on YouTube. I almost read the commercial. They're not paying us. Here we go. Listen to him.
Evidence is going to show. This is the first impression jurors received of Ronnie O'Neal, the Riverview man charged in a gruesome rampage that killed his girlfriend, his young daughter, and nearly killed his 8-year-old son. O'Neal, representing himself, shouted at the jury during his opening statement. And the evidence is going to show that law enforcement tampered with evidence. But the state says evidence is indisputable, that the only person responsible for the violent attack on his family is Ronnie O'Neal.
All right, so you think, wow, if he's really defending himself and he's coming out and he's screaming like this, he has to be innocent, right? It's no way you would get up here and make a fool of yourself. You would think that, right?
If he's already on death row, no.
Okay, so I would think, I was like this, yo, he gotta be innocent. It's no way he gonna get up there and do that. He interviews his son.
He does.
He interviews his son because his son was a witness. And his son watched another situation of kids watching adults just do terrible things. He was saying, did you see me kill your mother? No. Did you see me kill your sister? No. He said, did I hurt you? And the little boy said, yes. And he goes, what did I do to hurt you? You know what the little boy said?
What?
You stabbed me.
So he's guilty, no?
He got found guilty, yes. He got found guilty. He gonna die.
So the boy didn't see all of that stuff, but he knows that the dad stabbed him.
He knows the dad stabbed him. And the dad's defense for killing his baby moms was that she killed the daughter. So he killed her.
Oh,
but then it doesn't explain how the little boy got stabbed. Imagine making your son relive that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
He just sounds like he needs mental health too.
All right, here we go. Let's wrap it up. Bill Cosby. And Bill Cosby is free. Yeah. Free. Free. He was in there for 2 years. So he's innocent? He's guilty? How do you take somebody's life for 2 years and then just throw the case out?
It happens. 20 years.
I don't I don't get it. But you mentioned something that was pretty cool. Felicia Rashad put up a tweet, and the tweet said, "What did it say?"
She said, "Finally, an injustice, something about a mistaken injustice.
It's finally been corrected.
Or mistake, yes, it's been corrected." And she's, I think I want to say the dean or something at Howard U. And even though Howard U supported, all the victims that came out against him, they're turning their back on her tweet.
Well, you got to remember, Felicia Rashad, to a lot of people, she's held into such a high regard of the epitome of a strong black woman. Mm-hmm. So if you had to say, hey, Mark, name 5 strong black women, Felicia Rashad and Angela Bassett automatically pop into my head.
So is it that she worked with him for so long that she knows of his character?
It's possible.
He's worked around women on that set, more women than men.
Yeah, because they asked the ladies from the Cosby Show, and they were all like this. No, you ain't never do nothing like that to me. And even the light-skinned one who was like getting down, she's like, no, he didn't do anything like that to me. No. But, and this goes back to what I was saying before. It's like, where does it end? If he did something 40 years ago, where does it end?
Well, that's with these people coming out. What are they seeking? Monetary settlements? I don't know. I was talking about this, and sometimes the times are the times, and sometimes culture is culture, and some things are acceptable in certain times in certain cultures, and then other times they're not. Mm-hmm. So you can't really hold somebody to the standard of today's culture for 40 years ago. But we do it.
But that's not fair.
It's not.
Now, by all means, if he was out there, women were going over there to read scripts and he's putting Quaaludes in their drink and he's getting off on them, then absolutely he should definitely go to jail. But I don't know if that was the case in any of the stories. And I didn't really follow it closely. But from what I hear, the Quaalude was like Molly. It's just, everybody's just doing it. Back in the day. But then again, I wasn't there. I wasn't around for the 70s. I don't know what it was like at the time.
It could have been the norm.
You know what? Leave your comments down there. Should Bill Cosby be free? Should Bill Cosby still be locked up? Let us know. And we're going to end it there. Mun, do you have any last words?
I do not.
Well, I'm going to say some last words. Like it, subscribe, comment. Stories come up that you want to talk about or you want us to talk about, let us know. If you like to sponsor an episode, you know a small business owner wants to sponsor it, those people for the ball clippers, they messaged us again.
They did?
Yeah, I didn't respond. I deleted it.
Well, you keep talking about it.
Yeah, but you don't know the company.
Let's research it.
I'm not researching that. What am I going to do over here? Erica, you should see my shaved balls.
Well,
they're so smooth.
They'll run an ad.
Well, if we do get an ad, that means that we took it. If not, then we didn't take it. But I can't see myself coming on here talking to my female co-host about my shaved balls. Sorry. And on that note, we're out of here. Until next time, I'm Mark.
I'm America.
And we are the 504 Podcast. Take care.